Just how special is Cooper Flagg at the age of 18? On today's One More Thing.
I'm not a doctor, so.
That's it. It's me versus the machine.
I don't know.
Sock no change.
Nice penetrating thrust to the middle.
Hot man, the hot player.
Wait. One more thing.
Fired up.
You are locked on the Dallas Mavericks. This is one of your hosts, Isaac Harris, covering the Mavs for the last 10 years, alongside my good friend Nick Angstead. Thanks for making the Locked On Podcast Sports Network the number one sports podcasting network out there. And guys, I got to talk about Cooper Flagg. So I had to take off for the Mavs Pistons game, so I couldn't watch it live. So obviously I watched it, had to, because I'm going to watch every minute of Mavs basketball this year. And it's one of the few games this year that I couldn't watch live, and woke up early Friday morning and watched the full game early Friday morning. And what a fun game. I want to say a weird game, but what a fun game. What a brutal game, just like a physicality part of it. But I want to talk about Cooper in this game to an extent, maybe some other notes. And then I just want to focus on just how special it is of what he's doing at the age of 18, and to give a little context to it. And then at the end, I want to have a little fun with some 18 stuff, because I ask a lot of you guys through our Discord, through our subtext, our insider program, on Twitter. Also, it's like, hey, what was the hardest thing you did at the age of 18? And got some more perspective of it compared to what Cooper Flagg's doing. So we'll have some fun with that at the end. First off, this Pistons game, super physical, right? Like, I mean, it is, we're 2 days out of it. You had a post game from Nick and Slightly. You had, I think, another One More Thing from Nick talking about some of the post game quotes. The Naji one, incredible. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Just remarkable quote. Naji is a quote machine. But some of the stuff, man, that Cooper's doing, he didn't have, obviously the most efficient night in that Pistons game, but it's what he does in the clutch that is just insane for an 18-year-old. Even before I get to the, clutch stuff, the dunk he had early on in the game, going baseline, Cade tried to contest a little bit, just nasty work. Honestly, that dunk kind of reminded me of a young LeBron. Just had to throw it out there. Yes. Some of the stuff defensively, that's the special thing about Cooper Flagg. And, we said it going into the draft and stuff, knowing that they're going to take Cooper Flagg, of this guy is so special on both ends of the ball. When you talk to any draft person or draft expert out there about the draft and about Cooper Flagg, they're like, this is one of the most well-rounded prospects we've ever seen come into the draft. And, he was hyped up for a good reason. And to see what he does, his decision-making, even on the defensive side of the ball, he had that help side block on a Jalen Duren, like a hook shot. And that's the special part about him defensively, that I love the fact that when he gets to play with like an anchor big defensively, like an Anthony Davis, a healthy Derek Lively, that it allows him to be that center fielder, that safety in a way that can come over the top. He has great timing and block some of these shots. And we see him do that on some of these layups or a hook shot from a big like that in Duren. But yeah, I loved a lot of stuff from Cooper. I thought AD had some moments in that game. AD had a great block on Cade Cunningham, fadeaway, a little fadeaway, mid-range fadeaway in that game. He obviously had the block on Jenkins late. That was a good block at the shot clock. AD did get yammed on by Cade. That was a tough one there. But when it gets into that final few minutes of a game, and so many teams out there got to have that guy. Like, this was the biggest thing for the Houston Rockets last year, that just, it was like looking at it, it's like, oh, they don't have that guy. They don't know who they're going to. in that at the end of the game, and then Rockets fans or media or the Rockets in general would be like, no, that's our superpower. You never know who's going to get the ball. It's like, no, you got to have the guy to take the shot. And when you get into the clutch, and even though Coop didn't have the best, the most efficient shooting game, it's wild of where we're at. We're like right under 30 games, right around the 30 game mark. And that he is 18 years old, about to turn 19 here in a couple of days. And he's the best option. Like, you have grown men on this Mavs team in Anthony Davis and Naji Marshall and these guys that are literally looking at an 18-year-old and saying, like, you got it. Like, we're okay. We have Anthony Davis. This is a part you got to think about too. Anthony Davis is a little Hall of Famer that when you look at his accolades and everything, and how good of a basketball player he is in his career, that he is looking at Cooper Flagg in the clutch and it's like, all right, we trust in Coop. That Naji is like, pledge allegiance to the flag. Like, that is insane that you think about it like that he is an 18-year-old. And it's not even just the shots. Like, he's getting to the mid-range shots. It's not the, this is stuff that you see like Kawhi doing when he was at the peak of his powers of like getting to his spots. Like, that's what I mean. And not saying he is right now what Kawhi was at peak. I'm not saying that at all. But the good ones, the great ones, can get to their spots at will, it feels like. And that is what Cooper has been doing, especially in the clutch. And then even more impressive than I think any of the shots that he hit in the clutch there was the dump off to Anthony Davis. Like, that decision too, to get into the paint, to get to your spot, and then to make the right play. The bounce pass, didn't even like fumble the passing. The bounce pass, perfect position for AD to go up for the dunk. Just insane. I said it, I love the physicality in this game. I liked Isaiah Stewart's defense on him. I thought Isaiah Stewart played really well. And man, I think I saw the more like the importance of a guy like Isaiah Stewart with a team like Detroit. So I want to stay on the heck of a win for Dallas to pull that off in overtime. If I'm Asar Thompson, I'm sending in that clip of LeBron and saying like, hey, if I'm getting fined or anything for this tech or getting thrown out, I want to see what y'all did to right here. Because LeBron, was like grabbing the arm and everything of a ref just like 4 or 5 days ago. And Asar, like, yes, he ran up to to Goebel there and, it kind of like chest bumped his like shoulder, and then, he's thrown out of the game. It's like, all right, guys. Yes, it's fine that it's Asar, but if Asar was on, if he was wearing a Mavericks jersey, I would be losing my mind right now after seeing what LeBron got away with the other day. But when you look at a guy like Cooper, and there's so many things that make him special at this age, but it is just how efficient he can be as an 18-year-old, as this teenager. And I want to look at it too, because I want to look at some context of like, all right, I got asked this question the other day, and they're like, he put up 42 in that game. And I got to ask this question in person the other day. They're like, hey, was that really the most amount of points by an 18-year-old in the NBA? And I was like, yeah, it was. And he was like, man, that's crazy. No one had, and it's like, I was like, well, really, when you think about it, there hasn't been that many 18-year-olds play in the NBA, right? Like, especially since that rule happened. I think it was around 2006 that they implement the rule of, hey, you can't really do the high school thing anymore. I remember those high school days. If you're an older NBA fan, you remember the days that players come out of high school, guys like Dwight Howard and Tracy McGrady and Kobe and even a guy like Andrew Bynum, like, these guys that come straight from high school. And honestly, if you're asking me, which no one is asking me, but I'll give you my opinion anyway, I think you should still be able to come out of high school. I still do. I don't think you should have to be required to have a 1 year in college basketball. But, Cooper Flagg reclassifies, right? He finishes up high school earlier, goes to Duke at a younger age, at the age of 17, and dominates, wins the awards at the age of 17 in college basketball, and then comes into the league at 18. So now you're getting to see him kind of compared to some of these other guys that were in the league at 18. And this is what I want to do coming up right after break is I want to go through some other 18-year-olds, because I think you see the stats. I see the stats of like, he's the first 18-year-old to fill in the blank. And it's like, all right, well, what other 18-year-olds are we working with here? And is this like a normal thing? Is it the pool that big? And yeah, I want to walk through some of these names before we have some fun at the very end of it. This podcast is brought to you by our good friends over at DoorDash. DoorDash, man, if you are, maybe you have a busy day at work and you got meetings on meetings on meetings. You're like, man, I don't really have time to go and drive around and find an option for food. You can just pull up the app, maybe in the meeting, and you're like, all right, I'm going to have it delivered right here to the front desk here. DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through, whether you're watching highlights, the tunnel fits, just your favorite player. DoorDash makes the entire season more fun. Every player has their bag. With DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, your watch party vibes absolutely on point, just like this copy here. There are nights when your team stresses you out. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need dessert now. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gears, whatever gets you through the season, delivered right to your door. DoorDash in your bag all season long. This podcast is also brought to you by our friends over at Rocket Money. Rocket Money. Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? Yes. It happens fast. A few subscriptions here, impulse buy there, and suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stay in control of your finances, because managing your money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting so you can save more and stress less. Having the app find good times to save each month keeps you consistent with your financial goals, and the bill alerts and spending notifications help you catch small things before they turn into big expenses. Take control of your finances. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked-on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right. Talking about Cooper Flagg being 18, his clutch gene already is at the age of 18, just absolutely insane. What he's doing right now for the Mavs is crazy at his age. Guys, did y'all know that he's shooting 46% in the clutch right now? And when you look at his total clutch points, he's right there, only behind Cade Cunningham, SGA, and Tyrese Maxey. Pretty insane. But what's some context around this? So I looked up, I was like, all right, how many players actually played in the league at the age of 18? Because it can't be that many. I found 33 names, could be more. But some of these names, I'm assuming a lot of you guys haven't even heard of before. Because some of these names I've never heard of before either. So I don't blame you. But a lot of these names, most of the names I have heard of. And some of the names surprised me. Like I was like, oh, Biedron's played in the league when he was 18. Wow, didn't know that. Even Darko, shout out Darko, 2003. Didn't realize he was 18 whenever he came into the draft. I remember, obviously Gigi Jackson was 18, but let's look at some of the names though. Some of the like really, really good names. You look at a guy like Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal came in the league. He was 18 years old. You look at obviously Kobe, Darko, Tracy McGrady. There's some role players in there like CJ Miles or Jonathan Bender. Shout out. Daryl Dawkins back in the day in the 70s played when he was 18. Man, if you listen to this podcast and you watch Daryl Dawkins play live, leave a comment. I want to know. Leave a comment or send us a subtext or write in the Discord because I'm jealous. I wish I could have watched Daryl Dawkins play live. LeBron, Cooper, Dwight Howard, Jalen Duren they just played against the other night, but a couple years ago, he was in the league when he was 18. Devin Booker played in the league when he was 18 for literally 2 games. So, or no, maybe just 1 game because He made his debut at 18 years old, 363 days. So could have just been one game out of that. The crazy part about this, I mean, there's a bunch of other names in there like Andrew Bynum and different guys that just weren't at the same level as some of those guys. So I want to shrink the pool for a second and all right, these are some of the best players that played in the league at the age of 18. And to just give it some more context of what we're watching with Cooper Flagg is you look at a guy like Jermaine O'Neal, who came in the league when he was 18 in 1996. This dude played, but I mean, we're talking single digits. All right. I mean, he was a good young player, eventually makes his way to Indiana, but playing in Portland, just was just a super young kid out there, just trying to find his way as this big. You look at a guy like Kobe. Well, I think you've heard of Kobe before, but Kobe came off the bench. He didn't start at all. We're talking low average, 6 points a game, just barely. I mean, he was an actual kid in the NBA, just coming off the bench, trying to find his footing and learn how to play in the league. Darko is Darko. Tracy McGrady, kind of the same thing up in Toronto. Wasn't scoring a ton of points. It was taking a while for these guys that we're used to seeing these highlight plays of T-Mac in Orlando and Houston. Daryl Dawkins is Daryl Dawkins. But it's you look at a guy and it's I hate to go back to the LeBron thing. And I seen the pull out clip for socials the other day of Bryant Windhorst and Ryan Russillo talking. And Windhorst is talking about just how eerie some of the similarities is to LeBron. Guys, LeBron's literally the only 18-year-old comparison of what we're seeing right now of Cooper Flagg. I mean, go back and look at some of LeBron's rookie tape at the age of 18. Now, the athleticism might have been young LeBron's athleticism, some of the craziest athleticism we've ever seen. But you go back and look at some of the numbers. You look at some of the percentage stuff. You look at even some of the highlights and plays. That's why that driving one hand, cock back, one-handed dunk, sideways dunk, kind of on Cade a little bit there in the paint in the first quarter by Cooper is ooh, this looks like young LeBron. And it's literally what Cooper's doing right now, putting a 42, scoring in the clutch, scoring over 20 points a game. It's this has only ever happened with a LeBron at this age. And that's not a bias. That's not a, hey, I'm just trying to be hyperbolic. No, that's literally only happened in NBA history. We're looking at guys who have put up similar type of numbers and played that. That's literally only happened with LeBron. He is a special player. And it's just you hear the term, you hear 18 years old being thrown out. So I just wanted to throw out there, to some people and some of the followers of the show. And it's hey, what was the hardest thing you've done at 18? Because Cooper's 18 years old. He is packing places, 20,000 fan arenas. He's scoring in the clutch against some of the top names in the league. They just beat the best team in the Eastern Conference. He's getting post-game interviews. He is, just the biggest stage in front of the, thousands and thousands of people. I'm this is insane at the age of 18. I think back when I was 18, I was about to head off to college. I was working at a sporting goods store. These were the type of worries I had at 18. This is what Cooper's doing at 18. So I want to ask you guys, hey, what was the hardest things you done when you were 18 years old? And literally got hundreds of responses. So I just wanted to go down and highlight some of my favorite ones to give some perspective of what Cooper Flagg is doing at the age of 18. This is what a lot of you guys answered at what you were doing at the age of 18. Someone wrote back and said the hardest thing they did at 18 was a beer mile. Another person wrote back and said, get out of bed for an 8 a.m. history class. That was the hardest thing that they've done. This person, which I think it was Miss Cohen, by the way. Another person said they placed 7th in the Illinois State Chess Championship. Is this Bobby? Did Bobby write into this? This person said the hardest thing they did when they were 18 was staying celibate in college. thanks for the honesty in that. This person said the hardest thing they did at the age of 18 was taking out the trash. This person said moved to college 4 hours away. This response was go to class and talk to girls. A lot of people responding that to talk to the girl that they were interested in was the hardest thing they did at the age of 18. Little different than what's happening with Cooper right now. This person said deciding not to eat out and save my money for my PC build. Nerd. No, that actually sounds pretty good. So build a PC at the age of 18. Let's go. Hardest thing you did at the age of 18. Someone said go to China for a mission trip. Someone said the hardest thing they had to do is decide who to hang out with and what to eat for dinner. This is what we're thinking about at the age of 18, or most of us are. This person said being on a feed all day as a florist. Man, that actually sounds kind of hard. Shout out. Ask their biggest crush out. This person said the hardest thing they did at the age of 18 was breaking up with their girlfriend, Paula Joe. Paula Joe. If her name's Paula Joe, you probably need to break up with her. I want to give this person a shout out right here. This person wrote back and said, I'm 72 years old now. When I was 18, I was trying to figure out how to impress girls while making $5 an hour. Man, thanks for listening to the show. OG, 72 years old. Let's go. This person said the hardest thing they did at the age of 18 was roll a joint with 3 different papers. All right. This person said schedule class before 10 a.m. Got an answer that just said vote. Got an answer that said push start my car, jump into it, and pop the clutch. Actually sounds pretty hard too. This person said, I mean, we just got people taking shots here that responded. This person said the hardest thing that they did at 18. Their response was, my daughter is 19 and said the hardest thing she did at 18 was survive the Luka trade. By the way, can I send her a photo? Can I send her or you her photo and you can ask Cooper if he'd like to meet her? I'm not shooting the shots for you. I'm not showing Cooper Flagg a picture of someone from our text line. Sorry. This person said work at CC's Pizza is the hardest thing they did at 18. This person said drink too much Bacardi. And then this person said the hardest thing they did at 18 was get a night shift job at a gas station that everyone liked to rob. These are the things that most people are dealing with at the age of 18. Multiple of you just responded and said your mom. I'm not going to lie, I kind of laughed. All right. You don't know my mom, so get off my mom. Anyway, it was a great response. And I'm going to end it on this because I wanted to read those one for fun. And I actually enjoyed a lot of the responses, but just to give another perspective too of, man, this is what 99% of people at the age of 18 are worrying about, or the hardest thing that they were trying to pull off. There were a lot of good responses in there. That were some really, really hard things that I respect. That's crazy. And I'm like, all right, that's insane. That you did that at 18, but most of the answers was stuff like this of like how to ask my crush out or to work, to move here, to do this job, or to how to go to class before 10 a.m. This is the hardest thing for most of us at the age of 18. And Cooper is playing NBA basketball at one of the highest levels at the age of 18. Can you imagine what he's going to be like when he gets older? I want to end it on this. There were a handful of you guys who responded and answered with going to the military and enlisting into the military. And I just want to say so much respect for you guys. I have the utmost respect for the people who serve in our military. I come from a military family, and there are so many of you guys who have reached out that are deployed or stationed somewhere, that are in a branch of our military, that have said that you guys listen to our show. And I just want to say thank you is not enough, but I just want to personally say thank you so much for your service. It is literally one of the bravest and most honorable things I think you can do in our country. And as a small little podcast host that talks about the Mavericks every day, I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for listening. And doing that at the age of 18 is harder and more honorable than anything that I've ever done at the age of 18, or probably ever. And for most of us at the age of 18. So thank you for your service, and thank you for listening to the show. And we'll be back with another post game episode on Saturday night.